The recording is now in
Meow.
progress. I,
Recording is now in progress.
I did it. Oh, that's not our notes. I wrote up the wrong thing. There we go. Are you like typing and stuff?
Yeah, I was just making a couple. There are things that I know that I forgot to actually write in the notes that should go in the notes.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, sure.
I can just leave notes to myself and remember what I was talking about. But also,
There we
since
go.
this is the more involved podcast, I have to open three separate windows for the three separate things.
Well, in the Twilight Zone, I put everything in the same file.
Yeah, I just don't. And
I
now
hit,
I've opened two of the same thing. That's great. That's super, super duper smart.
you can do it twice now. Maybe one
Do
time
the
wasn't
same
good
thing
enough.
twice?
Yeah, that's the definition of insanity, right?
Yeah, but it's only if you expect different results. If you
Right.
expect the same results, then you're fine.
Mm-hmm. What kind of results are you expecting?
Bad.
Different? Are they different bad?
Yes, worse. Just worse and worse, like a copy of a copy.
Well, then you're insane.
No, no, no. If I expect it to be better, I'm insane. Well, yeah, I guess I am insane if I expect it to be worse every time I do the
Right.
same thing.
That's a different result. That's what I'm saying.
Paranoia. I think that's paranoia.
Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm. If I hit record too soon, now I'm playing a video game.
Good. Play more video games. I'm sort of catching up on Game Show at the moment. I got to the one where Luke was the puzzler.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I that's this always happens where I get like a year behind on fucking podcasts and then just have to catch up forever because
Yeah, I've been. I think I mentioned to you. I've just been addictively listening to the theme park podcast. So
I tried listening to that and I couldn't do it, man. They kept repeating the same nonsense words over and over and it was making me crazy. I know that's like a lot of podcasts are like that. I listened to an episode on something I knew that I had written before, and they were just like, yeah, kind of like floaty, floofy, floppy, bouncy, bouncy, bounce. They just kept saying that over and over. I was just like, I can't do this.
what do you know what it was?
It was the Doctor Doom ride.
Oh, okay. I didn't listen to that one, so who knows what that one's like?
That's a crazy ride.
Because I never went to Islands of Adventure. That's Islands of Adventure, right?
Yeah,
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 I
it
ain't
is.
been there.
Well, it's I mean, if do drop rides bother you?
Kind of.
Yeah, this is like worse because since it shoots you up, your brain is like, "Oh, I'm not coming down." Like for a second, your brain is like, "Oh, I'm not coming down at all. I'm just gonna fucking
that's more of
shoot
a
up the top of it."
that's more of a lift ride. I think I could handle that. And then you drop. I mean, does it is there the waiting to drop moments?
Well, you're waiting to launch basically, but it doesn't give you like a countdown or anything. Doctor Doom is just talking to you, and
Oh.
then in the middle of it, just out of nowhere, it's just like. And I like talked my friends into going on it, even though they were like scared too, and that was a terrifying. And I felt kind of bad for like trying. Like I didn't try that hard to get them on it, but I was just like, oh my
Haha,
god.
I just traumatized you.
But like the line made it was totally worth it with like how good the line was, because the whole thing is like you're going through this castle. There are these cartoons that describe how Doctor Doom is like draining the fear out of everyone to become more powerful, and it's like presented like one of those like fun like 50s infomercial things. So it's like, this is how I take the fear out of you by scaring you, and then I use it to power my abyssals. Or it's not
how,
Doctor Doom doesn't narrate those, but it's like presented like the whatever
how can you
corporation.
how can you not trust someone who goes by the name Doctor Doom?
I mean, uh, I'm trying to think. There's got to be something. I don't know. We trust uh, some people trust Donald Trump. That sounds evil.
But it's not in the name. That's connotation.
Mm.
Doctor Doom is just it's right there, and in the name, it's clear that
Um,
this is going to result in your doom.
is there like a rapper who goes by like Doctor Murder or something like that? That has a lot of fans. I can't think of anybody.
It sounds possible, sure. But then that's
Mm.
also like a different vibe, right? So I think what you want is like a registered doctor who provides medical care but has like a directly a disturbing name.
I mean, I feel like the thing where the Rick and Morty guy turned out to be a sex pest was almost like too. That was almost too on the nose. But that's just sort of still not his name. So,
Right. It's not in the name. Oh yeah, but by the way, how are you on all the files since I'm ranting about nothing?
oh no, I'm ready to go.
Oh, okay. Let's.
Oh, before I forget, can you send me an unnarrated version of the theme music so I could do that promo?
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
probably like ask you to say some strings of words that I could string together.
Okay. I
I
mean, I guess you could say the words if you wanted. You just have to shout.
was gonna do it like I say something and then you say something and then I say something and then you say something and then I say something and then you say something and then I say something and then you say something.
That sounds
Like
really
that kind of
confusing.
promo. Yeah, no,
I'm
it's a promo, it's like monster trucks.
I'm a promote Mox. MP3 is fine, right? You don't need like a wave, do you?
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Okay. Mm.
I mean, it's not gonna it's not really going it's not gonna go lossless anywhere, right? I mean
Hey, you never know. Some people might have like a high fidelity podcasting listening setup.
but do you have a high fidelity podcasting broadcasting setup? Podcasting broadcasting,
That's how
podcasting
Podcastio
broadcast.
Podcastius came to be.
uh,
Welcome. It's Imprisoned in Prison. It's an The Prisoner podcast. This is Malik the Mark here. Over there, as always, is Matt.
Hi, it's Matt over here for some
That's
reason.
that's right. Over there on the other side of the screen, acting all schizoid on us.
Who is anyone?
The Schizoid Man. That's who it is. That's today's episode, which in our running is number 8. But then in the one where I put the links to the podcast, it's number 5. So, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
Well, production order, it was number 7, so it's pretty much middle of the road here. We're in the middle.
Right. This is the belly button of the show.
Indeed.
Was
So
that
let's
was
get
that
into it.
yes.
Let's
Do
get
it.
into this belly button. This episode aired October 29th, 1967. If the first thing you think of when you hear the Schizoid Man is of a season 2 Star Trek The Next Generation episode, that episode was actually supposed to have Patrick McGowan in it and was named in honor of this episode, but there were scheduling conflicts and he didn't make it onto that episode, which probably is for the best because it's rated one of the worst episodes.
Maybe it would have been better with him in it.
Yeah, maybe it would have been not quite the worst rated.
First thing I
Who
thought of
knows?
was 20th Century Schizoid Man.
Yeah, I think that came out after
3 years,
this.
yeah, a couple of years later.
Huh. 69. Anyway, this week's episode was written by Terrence Feely. He was actually the foreign story head of Paramount at the time, but by November 1968, he would resign to join McGowan's Everyman Films as a co-director. He will return for one more writing credit on The Prisoner for The Girl Who Was Death. But later, he would also serve as writer on works such as You'll Never See Me Again and Space 1999.
Is that like you don't date crazy, you don't date death,
And we'll find out, won't we?
right?
Pat Jackson returns to direct, having previously directed A, B, and C. That's one episode, not 3. He'll be back to direct 2 more Prisoner episodes after this. Jane Marrow guest stars as 24. She was born in 1941 and started as a stage actor before moving on to television roles in the 60s. Not only is she one of the few Prisoner actors still with us today in 2023, but she is the current American TV crossover champ from the show, guest starring on Barnaby Jones, The $6 Million Man, The Incredible Hulk, The Greatest American Hero, Heart to Heart, Magnum PI, Seen Elsewhere, Days of Our Lives, Airwolf, and MacGyver. Most of those for exactly one episode each. Anton Rogers is our number 2 this week. He was a mostly TV actor who also appeared in My Partner the Ghost, The Day of the Jackal, and Murder Most English, A Flaxborough Chronicle. Finally, we have Earl Cameron as the supervisor. Although it was rare at the time to have a black actor playing an authority figure, he will also be the only black actor to appear on The Prisoner altogether. So I guess we'll take the victories where we can. He was a Bermudian actor who found himself acting in London starting in the 1940s, who would appear in films and TV until a few years before his death in 2020. You can catch him in Beware of Children, Two Gentlemen Sharing, and Inception.
I hope that's
And
not all one movie too.
that's 3 movies.
Oh, good, good, good.
One of those might be a show. I don't really delineate. It's the future, man. It's all the same. And also, last but not least, Patrick McGoohan co-stars as Curtis.
Right. Okay. There's a story. I guess you're going to tell us a story. Tell us a tale.
Oh, here's the story. Funny you would mention that. Number 6 is enjoying a quiet night at home, helping train number 24 to psychically read cards. She has a high success rate, and they aren't sure if she's just gifted or if they have a psychic link together. Later, as he sleeps, number 2 is monitoring number 6's bed, and the light fixture overhead blinks and causes him to black out, and he is carried off to be experimented on. He wakes up and realizes he now has a mustache and also is now number 12. He goes to see number 2, who gives him flapjacks, which is number 12's favorite food, and he gets a shave, and he's told that his assignment is to break number 6, and is told to remember the password Gemini. He goes to see the number 6 that he needs to go see and finds a duplicate of himself. They get along at first, but eventually friendly banter leads to passive aggression, shooting contests, and fencing, and finally a slap fight in the alley. Number 12 finds that he cannot compete because his left-handedness gives him a disadvantage in combat. At the control room, number 2 is interrogating the new number 6, and fingerprints are compared, but number 12 decides to call in number 24 to prove his identity via their psychic link. The problem is now 24 has a psychic link with the new number 6 and not with number 12. She also identifies a mole that number 12 suddenly doesn't have. Later, number 12 noticed the fingernail injury that number 24 had caused before all this had started and realizes that he was actually brainwashed into liking flapjacks, white cigarettes, and being left-handed. He takes things into his own hands by holding a lamp and a faucet at the same time, which causes an electric shock that makes him right-handed again, and all is right with the world. He strolls over to the fake number 6's house, taking out a few goons along the way after they don't accept Gemini as the password. He feigns despair, but then ends up in a fist fight with a fake number 6, who reveals that his name is Curtis and the password is actually Schizoid Man. Then Rover kills Curtis, thinking that he's number 6, so the real number 6 impersonates Curtis to try and escape, but unfortunately, along the way, number 6 has given himself away by talking about Curtis's wife, Susan, as if she is alive, and after getting a blindfolded helicopter ride right back to where he started when he thought he was getting away, number 2 reveals that she's actually been dead for a year, and he messed up.
Oops. He talked. He should have just been a quiet passenger.
It is, yeah, it was very interesting how they chose to just to be like, let's just watch him dig his own grave. You don't usually get to see that in the show, right?
Yeah, yeah. He doesn't stumble bum that hard most of the time. So, let's see. A few observations. I thought this one started out like a sitcom, like a weird sitcom, which is kind of a weird vibe in the show because we haven't had it before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have. I feel like we have a lot of different number 6s here. Some in different times, which is interesting because the fake number 6 felt more like the number 6 that was at the beginning of the episode. I guess it's sort of telling that we haven't gotten a show by this writer before because it feels like number 6 is sort of
He's too chill, isn't he?
yeah, it feels like when he's number 12 and he's like completely screwed, then that's more like the number 6 that we know so far.
Right. Right. Well, that's where this episode's nicely schizoid then, right?
I
Because you get,
suppose.
yeah, you get the wrong characterization, and then you get the right characterization, but now he's the wrong character.
I was confused watching it and making the summary.
I mean, he was definitely nicer than Bill Murray in Ghostbusters, doing the card stuff.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to trick to give her drugs or whatever Bill Murray did in that film.
He was shocking the other guy when they got him wrong.
Oh yeah, but he still got her phone number at the end or something,
Oh
or
no, he wasn't. He was just lying about her cards, so he didn't have to shock
oh.
her.
Well, I feel like wasn't number 24 lying? Did we get an answer about that? Was number 24 lying about the cards? I was confused about that as well.
Well, we saw the cards, and
Hmm.
I mean, she wasn't lying because we saw them on camera. What it
Yeah, we
was and
saw
what she
them,
was
but
saying.
did she also? I'm like, did she have some kind of in where she was being fed what the cards were?
Curtis was flashing his fingers, probably
Oh,
like
well,
baseball
I mean,
code.
even at the beginning, it felt like maybe she. I mean, retroactively, I'm like, she was doing something. So was she trying to trick number six in the first place? Because it's kind of crazy that mind reading exists if it does, right?
Well, I think, I guess I've said it on a different podcast, but sometimes I have my teaching mind reading experiences. Again, that's experience, but hey, this could be experience too, where, I ask a kid a question and I already know what their answer is going to be, that sort of thing. But
But is it like a series of patterns, and do you know they're gonna say wavy lines?
that's my point, though. This could also be kind of a series of patterns, right? So,
Hmm.
or like I intentionally try to lose card games of chance sometimes,
Hmm. Let's increase the challenge level.
Yes, I feel like my intention maybe does make me lose more often than win,
Hmm.
because I want to, especially if they're younger kids, I kind of want to let them win, right? So I mean, there's something about intention, but in this case, I mean, how much have they been practicing? They seem quite comfortable doing this, so it could partly be, like even like an inflection of the voice. Which card is it? And you kind of pick up, oh, he's probably looking at this, like unconscious clues.
I suppose so, if there are only like four different cards.
Yeah. Do you want some flapjacks?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay. I felt like this episode was kind of
Maybe I'm number 12.
anti left-handedness.
I was gonna ask you about that if you felt attacked by this.
Yeah, of course.
This is
Although,
pretty absurd. I don't think that anyone would even try to make this. Like, of all the things that they've done in the show that have been even close to problematic, this feels like one of the least likely things to actually would be made now. The left-handed disadvantage.
well, keep in mind when this started, they simply asked him, "Why did you resign?" Right. So this is episode 8, 7, 5. It's in the middle, like you said. So obviously the plans
Mhm.
are getting more convoluted by this point.
Yeah. Yeah,
Although there,
I
I
was
do have
starting to wonder if even number two was in on it or not. I was starting to wonder, like, is there somebody else? Because he kept questioning Curtis about things. I'm like,
well,
what?
I mean, 2 is typically a stooge. This guy in particular is, I think, the closest to we've gotten to that you can call like a twit. This guy was kind of an insufferable twit. Maybe that's why the ending helicopter scene was so annoying, because you're just watching number 6 just walk right into the clutches of a insufferable twit.
We all knew it was going to happen because
There's
number
like
two
7 more
kept saying,
episodes.
well, no, it's not even that. It's just that they telegraph it so hard. Number two being like, why would you say a thing like that? Like he just keeps staring at the camera, being, that's strange. That's an odd thing to say when
Twit.
number six is clearly lying. Anyway,
So yeah,
I
yeah,
think
you
number
think,
24 does that too. She's like, what?
yeah,
What are
you
you
think
talking
there'd
about?
be a few suspicions with the fake Curtis, since they did, I guess, give him plastic surgery or whatever.
Well, you would think that number six would be more suspicious. Maybe he did notice number two being suspicious, and he was just like, I just have to get out of here, man. I can't. I don't have time for damage control. I'm just gonna try and get out of here."
Yeah, so he didn't finesse it well enough, I guess. I mean, again, we like to compare him to Bond, and Bond would not have finessed that either. Bond would have screwed it up.
Yeah, but then he would have just shot his way out of it somehow.
Right, right.
Um, I think
Again, yeah, another helicopter where he doesn't just try to murder everyone inside the helicopter.
it's fun. It's funny that they're willing to like waste an entire like gas tank of a helicopter just to humiliate him.
This is a high budget village, man.
Yeah,
Black budget, all that.
really important. Yeah, it's really important to keep him in his place.
Right, exactly. So yeah. What else was I thinking about? Oh, how'd you feel about the stash?
I was like, he's Italian now?
Hey, it's number 6. Sorry, I was trying to cross reference
Hey,
the
what am
Mario
I
voice.
here for? Why am I in this room? What's
Yeah.
going on? Why is my left hand work so much better than my right?
Why you were asking? I am in a. I think you said you can write with both hands. Can you?
I'm ambidextrous, yeah.
See, I'm not, but I do everything with my left hand except for music stuff, which I'm all right-handed for.
I mean, I usually pick a hand to develop whatever it is because anything you do, you have to like practice it, right? Like
Mm,
anything. So the only thing that I've really developed both hands for is like shooting pool because that's the one thing where you really have an advantage doing it with both hands. But like I bowl left-handed and I can't bowl right-handed and I write right-handed. I'm not good at writing left-handed even though I can. So
yeah.
like
No, for me, I'm
I'm
just hardcore left hand, except for music, which is probably because cello
mhm.
is my first instrument. You just can't play cello the other way.
I always feel, well, I mean, I'm totally biased because ambidextrous, but I always felt like if you're doing something music related, you're using both hands.
True.
So does it really matter which hand is doing which thing? I don't know. Video games, same thing. Like there are some left-handed video games like Centipede,
How is Centipede a
for
left-handed
instance.
video game?
You use the your right hand for the trackball and left hand to shoot.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's been a while since I played that on a console.
No, I mean on arcade specifically.
That's why I meant an arcade console.
Ah,
Like, sorry, yeah, console
ah.
is kind of a yeah. Sorry, once it came out, I realized
No,
what
no, it's all good.
Okay. Um, Another thing that went through my mind watching this was like kind of an early iteration of the Mandela effect. Like they Mandela affected his apartment. Like everything's just slightly different.
Yeah, that was fun. Even though they did like mention a bunch of things I probably wouldn't noticed. Like this is normally silver, but it's gilt or something.
Well,
Guild.
it's different. It's yeah. Um, there was a little bit of a flaw in that shooting sequence where you could definitely tell there were two distinct gray tones in the shooting room.
Yeah, that was definitely like sort of an ahead of its time
Well,
sequence,
when was the
or harder
Parent
to
Trap?
film.
When was the Parent Trap done? That was around this time,
Probably
right?
around this time. Yeah. Did that have
No,
that?
wait, that had actual twins. Excuse me. It was a later one where they doubled
Oh,
the
you're talking
budget.
about the two guys. I thought you were talking about the shooting scene as in just the mechanics of the shooting game.
Oh, that being ahead of time. No, I was talking about the split screen technique.
No,
I'm like, I know there's 60 shows that do that.
I thought that was surprisingly good. Actually, I was
It was a good scene. I just noticed, because I'm being I'm looking too closely, and I just noticed that the walls had two different tones of gray behind each number 6.
oh, I didn't really notice that. So they did a good enough job, I guess, or I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
very good with details.
yeah. I was kind of like looking for a flaw though, so
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
was looking for, wow, this is impressive and worth my time to recap.
right,
That's what I
right.
was looking for.
Okay, that's good. Let's see. Never go to Haiti. Good advice.
Mm.
It's kind of
I
muttered in the
like how
background. I think
what he said he's about his thinks he's the cube root of infinity or something. I
that's
wrote
cool.
down the cube root of infinity as it was like an insult and I didn't write the context.
Oh, okay. Well, that's clear.
He probably thinks he's the cube root of infinity, I think was the thing. And I said I wrote in my notes probably that is infinity.
Okay, that's an uninfinite. Oh, yeah. You have multiple infinities, right? Because they talk like in math, there's like 8 kinds of infinities. I think
Well, I mean, wouldn't you divide it? It's like zero. If you get the cube root of zero is zero, right? Probably
that would do one
same.
kind of infinity, I suppose. But there's other kinds of infinity depending on yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Smaller infinities.
I got C's in math, so I'm not the person to explain this to you.
Oh, I was actually on track to be a math major, except I didn't want to be a math major.
I got C's in math. No one ever told me I should be a math major.
Well, I showed all of them by
I
not being a math major. I mean,
All
I had no
right.
interest in teaching, so it was like, well, there you go.
I have an
Still
ESP.
don't.
I have an ESP trainer on my phone.
Hmm.
It's four squares of different colors, and you're supposed to press the one that has a picture, and
Okay.
you have
Do you
24 trials.
do you feel like you've learned anything from it?
Yeah, I don't have ESP.
Okay, well, that's knowledge.
I think the most hits I've got now 24 is like six.
I mean, the like my phone keeps thinking that it knows what are my most popular home shortcuts, and it's always wrong. So
Right. Well, yeah, I guess there's the digital mind readers these days, right?
yeah, they're bad.
Yeah,
You
and
know, get like sometimes Amazon will be like, "Hey, do you want this storage cellar or something?" I'm like, "No."
I hate it when when you start getting some kind of health thing, right? And then it happens after that.
Like
Like,
cancer or something.
well,
That
more,
wouldn't be.
yeah. Well, I haven't, maybe that happened. I don't know, but just a few days ago, I was reading like a an article, and it just kept having these like nasty images of a screwed up finger, and then the next day I
Oh,
screwed up my finger.
oh no.
I mean, not horribly. It was not as nasty as the images I was getting. I was just like, that's weird.
Well, it's sort of like saying "oh no" because "oh no" your computer read the future.
Read the
That's
future,
not
yeah,
good.
yeah. That's what
I've
I'm
been
saying.
getting I've been getting a lot of debt relief ones, but I like am extremely in debt, but
Right, but yeah, well,
not
that's more like
particularly looking for a relief right now. So
that's like looking at bank numbers, I guess. So,
yeah,
but that
maybe.
there's at least something you could spy on for that. But weird finger stuff. How does the computer know that? I mean, yeah, it should probably just a coincidence anyway. But still,
Hmm. Yeah, what if the computer like just sent someone to mess your finger up? It's like the
yeah,
Terminator. It's like the Terminator, but just for like Amazon products. It's like the AliExpress Terminator. It's like just messes your finger up so it could sell you like a little cast to put on it.
like Arnold Schwarzenegger shows up, bops you in the finger with the hammer, and then just like walks off.
Yeah, and then you immediately get a notification. It's
And then, and
like,
then he and then he starts making curtains or whatever he did.
yeah, I think he was like a painter or something. I don't remember.
It was a curtainer, because he kept putting out drapes, right?
I still think that was the best Terminator that there ever has been.
Oh, that
It's
was the
my
best
favorite
scene,
one.
and that was the best scene in any Terminator movie where he's talking about how what carpets match with what drapes. Oh,
Yeah, it's exactly yeah. There you go. No,
sorry,
that's
that's out of
that
context. That kind of
movie
sounds wrong.
that movie got that movie got what Andor got right like years earlier because it was just like, you know what's cool? A bunch of people who actually want to kill each other that have to sit in the same room and listen to each other talk. That's actually better than like what was the last one? Like that's a phone app that sent Matt Smith back in time. I don't remember.
One up there that's went back. What?
Yeah, the other Terminator, the previous Terminator.
Oh, right. Okay. See, I've properly forgotten that Genesis existed, although I did come up with a name there. So,
Well, Genesis was the name of the phone app that was actually Skynet, but then Skynet's Legion now. How many? Oh man,
I
they're
really
gonna run
don't
out of
remember.
words.
I forgot everything about Genesis, I think, which is probably for the best.
There was a cool thing where there was a 70s Terminator for like 2 seconds.
That's like Disco Bones in Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Kinda.
The best bones.
Best Bones.
Yeah, yeah. And the next scene, he's all shaved and in uniform. That was such a bait and switch there. It's like I was so
Yeah.
excited that we were gonna get Disco Bones, and then we didn't really get them much.
It looked like a real mustache. So I'm like, I kind of want to know if that was a real mustache, but maybe it was just a great makeup job.
He had a full beard. He was Grizzly Adams. I think D. Kelly was just hitting the hedonist floors of the '70s. That's why I like to think.
Yeah, maybe. Well, maybe that was what Patrick McGoon was doing on like a 2 week break or something.
Well, he was probably going to those hoity-toity parties because they keep showing up in The Prisoner.
Just I'm going to go to one of these parties.
A
I'm
four
going to shave
martini
my
party.
mustache. Ah!
But yeah, I don't know if his stash really was that great.
Wait,
So
I'm going to grow my mustache, not shave it. Why am I saying all the wrong things?
Well, if you could, you might want to manicure your mustache if you're, serious about it.
It looked pretty I don't know, manicured, whatever, groomed,
Do you think they
cultivated.
do you think they brainwashed uh grooming care for facial hair into their brainwashing regimen?
Perhaps. I
It
mean,
would
they
only
if
be
they can make you
polite.
left-handed, they could do anything, dude. Like that's insane. And not to mention that okay, we might as well talk about the elephant in the room, which is the best and worst thing in this episode, where he cures his left-handedness by electrically shocking himself.
That's where I was about to get to. Yeah. That's great. I love that.
It is great. It's like the old boy thing where he draws a guy on the wall and punches him until he learns how to fight. Just absolutely, but it's also insane, and
There's
I
really
didn't
no
even
reason to think that would work.
no reason to think that would work. That possibly would kill you if that actually. I wouldn't really think that would even shock you, but if it did, I guess it might kill you. Mm.
So, yeah.
But yeah,
But
it's like in the weirdest Twilight Zone episodes where they just don't give you an explanation for why things are. It just happened. It just is.
well, earlier they showed where he has the rubber glove on his left hand. That's how they brainwashed him, right? He could catch the shocky thing because he had a rubber glove on his left hand, but not on his right hand.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So when he remembered all what they did to him, I guess he was like, "Well, obviously, electrocuting myself is the correct solution."
There was kind of a lot in this episode considering that the cast was like three people
Yeah, well,
actually.
yeah, but all of them kind of play different people because 24 seems. I guess she's kind of the same in all the scenes, but like you said, you don't really know how in on it or how much of a stooge she is. Number two is just out of it. So, yeah, like you said, you can't even tell if he's actually like in the pilot seat on this, which he's probably not, to be fair.
It seems like I don't want to like cast any doubt on the actors, but it seems like maybe the actor didn't entirely understand the script.
This probably is the case for a lot of prisoner actors.
Could be.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because they probably had to just
we're like 8 episodes in, and we don't understand the show.
yeah, and there's a lot of Patrick McGowan apparently burned himself out so bad. Like if you look at his career, he was in like series with hundreds of episodes, and he does this like 17 episode series and then gets totally burned out and doesn't do anything for like 3 years. And barely really doesn't do a whole lot the rest of his life. He mostly just occasional this and that.
So they broke him in the end.
Yeah, he broke himself.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Ice
Okay.
Station Zebra broke him, maybe.
I think he broke himself is probably the right way to look at it.
Yeah, he had the whole auteur syndrome thing. He Chinese democracy'd himself.
Oh God, he smiled himself. That's better, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, yeah. That is better. I mean, this is a product of, I assume, quality that is closer to Smile than Chinese democracy. I have not listened to Chinese democracy, but
I think I
I
heard
heard
some of it. I just don't remember anything about it.
I heard a song from it, and I was like, this isn't good, but it's not enraging. I guess
I found Def Leppard's Hysteria for 50 yen yesterday. That was fun.
that album's good though.
Yeah, true.
Like
So,
I will unflinchingly declare that and Pyromania are both good. So
and it took even the 80s, it took them like 5 years to make an album. So maybe The Prisoner was Patrick McGowan's Hysteria.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah. That doesn't make sense though, does it?
Mm, I mean, Iron Maiden made better albums than Def Leppard in a shorter period of time, and they have a direct link to this series. But
I can't
but
think of
yeah,
it.
I would
They
argue
put
that
out albums regularly.
Hysteria is a more quote perfect album than anything Iron Maiden did. So, mm.
There we go. Okay, so the prisoner is the Def Leppard of British television.
Okay, we can put that on our
The
podcast summary,
artwork.
podcast description. Yes, on the artwork, front and center.
how do you
Comic
rate
Sans.
how do you rate this week's mind game?
This one, man, this one's like are we rating this 1 to 5 or 1 to 10?
We're not rating it, we're just comparing it.
I think this is one of the better ones, personally.
Yeah, same here. I thought it was the most fun.
Because when I start doubting like who I am and who number 12 is and who number 6 is and who Curtis is, then yeah, I'm kind of
And who
I'm in,
Rover
you know.
kills. Yeah.
I'm definitely in.
What is it when
So
Rover catches you? Do you have like what, a 40-60 chance or something of
I
making it
don't
out of that?
I feel like he might be just programmed to only not kill. Wait, but he does kill number 6. I don't
No,
understand.
he kills Curtis.
Yeah, he kills Curtis. Maybe do you think Rover knew it was Curtis?
I don't know. Maybe Rover's got like a tricorder or something in there to, really like figure stuff out.
I think Rover knew it was Curtis, and he
Okay.
intentionally he specifically was like not number 6, so I can kill you.
So you're gonna stick with the Rover as number one theory.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I would say that
If you catch Rover at the right
it's
angle, there's
possible.
if you
I think
catch
Rover is smarter than people think that it is.
if you catch Rover from the right perspective, you will see the little one name tag on part of the sphere.
Yeah, probably.
It just tries not to
I
show
mean,
that bit to you.
doesn't have any other number on it,
Yeah, yeah. So that
so it
makes it
must be number 1
or zero,
or
like
number
the whole
0.
just
Yeah, it's a
because
ball.
it's
It's
so
number
it's number
0.
zero.
What
But
if
then
it?
we're
Yeah,
back.
what if that's just the end of the series? It's like you asked who number 1 was, but you didn't ask who number 0 was, and he just like comes in like, "Argh."
And then it
That'd be
pops.
amazing. Yeah,
It's
then
the
it
end of the
pops,
series.
and then confetti comes out.
I think that is how the show ends. Okay. If I
Well,
remember
we'll
correctly.
see.
Yeah,
Remember,
yeah.
listeners.
But yeah, I'll go down that this was probably I think it's one of the more like fun ones so far.
Yeah,
Some
this
of the
is in
more
my top 3 or 4 probably.
I keep thinking the different orders of the show depend on how much you think they're upping the intensity from mind game to mind game, which is kind of why I'm opening up the comparison.
Yeah, well, you know, you if you're playing a game of cat and mouse with somebody, you don't want to like come with a softer cat,
Right. So then
you
you
know.
get to someone arguing if A, B, and C is more intense than this. If it's more intense, it comes after. If it's less intense, it comes earlier.
I wonder if I really wonder I wonder what kind of process was it was to like determine what order everything was. Like if
It
people
seems
were
that
just like
it
whatever, this
seems
is
there were multiple processes, weren't there? Because there's multiple orders.
it could have just been like flipping a coin.
Patrick McGowan was like, "Don't bother me. I'm busy with my bottle of scotch or something." I don't know. After
I don't
making the
even
show.
I don't know if they were finished making the show when they aired the first episode.
Well, I yeah, and also that what they do, they filmed 10. No, they filmed like 13, and then it was like, oh, we need four more that they did like after the finale. So that's
It was something like they did 7 or 8, and then there were going to be a full 26, but then I know that it was something like the finale was kind of rushed, and Patrick McGowan just thought everyone was going to be mad at him, so he like went on vacation immediately.
that's a good idea. So basically he got imprisoned by his own show.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, right. What happened was I remember what happened. The thing that's coming up where he takes a break to make Ice Station Zebra, and number 6 is another person. Spoiler alert. Then he comes back, and one of the producers had quit, so then he had to like do even more work and had to like cram everything in the whatever last few episodes.
We'll see
And
if he
some,
gets shouty in the last few. Yeah, I guess he's
I
not that
think, yeah, and
shouty
I
in
think
this
some of
episode.
those, yeah, I think some of those are the ones that don't make it onto the onto the order for some, what was it? Some other country didn't only aired 13 instead of 17.
That sounds like something that could have happened.
There's a 13 episode order somewhere.
Okay. No, we're not doing that one. We got to do those last
Oh, why
four, I
would we
guess.
do? Yeah, why would we do that? We're gonna
Just to
skip
be
those
annoying.
4.
They're not real episodes.
Not real. I
They
mean, they're
weren't
apparently
actually
not.
made. They weren't really produced.
They are apparently the least of the episodes, but
Okay. Don't
most of them, if not all of them, are still rated like over 7.5 in IMDb. But of course, that's also kind of in the yeah, do not forsake me, oh my darling, living in harmony, and the girl who is death.
Ooh, yeah, we haven't done any of those yet, have we? Okay, I guess we
Because
are
they're
sticking them
towards the
all.
end, because that's what
Right.
happened. They're
Okay.
towards the end in every run
Right. Okay. So we
because they
could
were
skip
kind
it.
of crammed
We
in
could
there.
we could skip them if we felt like it. But
Yeah, we
that would.
just want everyone to know that we will not, even though we could. Uh,
We will. Okay, just in case people aren't catching up on the snark
we
enough.
will not wait. We will not skip them.
I
We said we
finally.
will.
Oh, okay. We will do episodes based on those
We
episodes.
will do the episodes. We will
By the
not
way,
skip them.
I didn't notice that this was in my DVD case till just now.
Well, cool. Is it black and white or color?
Color. I got the color one. Yeah,
Nice.
that's the map of my village. So, yeah, it's a nice.
All
Yeah,
right.
there you go in color, right? That's.
Sweet.
But yeah, it fell out of the little booklet. I guess well, I have a full book on the prisoner, so I hadn't like looked in like the booklet, right? And I kind of plopped out of that. The point being, I was going to tell you what the next one is, which is, oh, is this one of them? No, no, it's not.
Many happy
Many
returns.
happy returns. Yeah, okay, we do just do all those four at the end before the finale. Okay,
This is
that's cool.
considered one of the better ones.
Okay, I
The next
mean,
one.
right. Well,
This one is too.
I guess you're looking at the ratings there or something, but
I just remember it from pulling up IMDb and looking at it.
okay. I guess you're social man now. Then, if you want to tell people that stuff,
Hey, at Twitter and Facebook at the Prisoner Pod.
was it a question mark at the end?
I'm going to make sure that I'm not giving people the wrong address before I say that.
Are you sure you're going to do that? Because you don't sound sure.
Maybe I'm gonna do it.
Am I gonna punch you in the
Yeah,
face? Is that
at
how
the
I'm gonna do
Prisoner
that?
Pod on Twitter and Facebook.
Okay, that sounded way more definitive. That's cool.
Part of the Podcastius Podcast Network.
Which is on Patreon. That's probably worth noting.
Patreon.
Yeah, where we also have Matt and Luke's Sci-Fi Sanctuary, Time Enough podcast, looking at the Twilight Zone. Luke loves Pokemon. You can guess what that looks at. Occult Disney. We look for the magic hidden behind the Mickey. Game
The
show.
Game Show, a
There's the
game show
game.
about games.
Yeah.
Game.
Okay.
Game.
And I forgot to mention
Monster
Monster Mash,
Mash.
but I just did. So everything's been
Monster
mentioned
Hunter
now.
podcast. We're
Yeah.
making it worse. We're making it worse.
Kings of the plugs.
All right. Speaking of plugs, be plugging you. You're right-handed now.
Except musically, I'm left-handed.
No, you're all right-handed now.
Okay. There's a.
That was chaos.
That's the point, right? It's supposed to be. Well, actually, I for the first 20 minutes in, I was like, oh man, we've been like really focused on this episode. So I think I might have intentionally
Oh, you
derailed
were
some of it.
intentionally making it taking it on a tangent. This is a
Yeah.
really good episode to talk about. So it's like a rare like there's enough to talk there, you know. What was the one we did where there wasn't? I can't remember.
Free for all there was. Dance of the
Or am I
Dead,
thinking? I'm
maybe.
just thinking of Twilight Zone.
You might be. Yeah, I don't think any of the prisoners have been that
Or maybe
bereft.
Checkmate, because Checkmate was just like a nonsense game of chess or something.
Oh yeah, but that was cool. Let's see, China's Big Ben. That was pretty hip. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Checkmate
I think
was a little derpier, but
I think almost every Prisoner episode we've done has been better than almost every Twilight Zone that I have talked to you about that I've been on to talk about specifically.
you might be right because yeah, you get the like, oh, I'll plug Mark and here on the schedule.
Oh yeah, did my friend ever get back to you about an episode?
No,
He's a
I mean,
weird fucking guy. It's he was like we were on a job together and he was like just that episode that you suggested to him, he was like that's like my least favorite Twilight Zone episode because it has a bunch of religious stuff in it, and he's like one of those super anti-religious people. And I was just like, well, just tell him, just be like, hey, can you give me a different episode? And he was like, no, I'll do that episode, but I'm just gonna like talk a bunch of shit about it. I'm like, why don't you just tell him to give you a different episode? So I don't fucking know what's going on.
yeah, because I just said that one was like like the closest one temporally to now that's not already like filled in.
Yeah,
But
I
actually, it
mean,
is
I
filled
know.
in. So I'd want to give him something later in season 3 now anyway. So
Good or whatever. I don't know what the fuck. I mean, I assume he's done with whatever that thing we were working on was, the commercial, but
because actually, I told you I did get Dorian in for the two, and then when my guest for Obsolete Man didn't really work out, so I just and she kind of wanted that too, so I was like, we'll just do them at the same time.
good.
So
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I just told him like, "Hey, just ask for a different episode," and he was like, just kind of weird about it because he's just like he's kind of like a weird, argumentative at times guy. It's
okay,
just like it doesn't. He's not gonna be mad at you. Just ask for a different fucking thing. But I don't know. I
and
don't
this,
think he thought you would be mad at him. He was just like
I mean,
being weird about it.
he can't have that one now, so that one is now has been scheduled since.
Well, I mean, I told him to pick a different one. So if he fucking wants to, I guess he will. I don't fucking know.
Okay, I'll leave the ball in that court then.
Yeah.
No,
Oh yeah.
they like the guy that was going to do the Absolute Man. He was just like he wants to do like something on the Sci-Fi Sanctuary instead. So it doesn't bother me when that happens. It's like okay, you want to do a movie then that's fine. I have a few people that where I've invited them to the Twilight Zone one, but that just that wasn't their bag.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's not going to be everyone's thing. I mean, you wouldn't want anybody on there who's going to be like, "Whoa, look how fake this car is! Look how fake this," or just going to like try and make fun of it or
But
whatever.
I've had a few people who are just like, oh, I don't know the show, so I'm not like qualified. I'm like, I don't know it that
Hmm.
well. It's not
It's
like I'm
almost
like an
like
expert on this. I mean, I might be when I'm finished with the podcast, but I didn't come in that way.
it's almost better to like not if you can come in and be kind of like I feel like in a perfect position to talk about both Prisoner and Twilight Zone because I'm like pretty familiar, but not like 100% familiar. So I'm still able to get new things out of like I definitely had not seen this episode of The Prisoner before, like this week's.
I can't remember I had, but yeah, that's the same thing for me. Neither a show, I mean, is something that I like intrinsically knew. Like Andrew, like he's seen every Twilight Zone like 8 times. So he might.
I wonder where he finds the time sometimes. He
I think
said
he.
something like he's seen Ghostbusters 200 times or something like that. I'm just like,
I think
really?
he lives. I think he counts. I watched it if it's like on in the background.
Maybe.
Yeah, because I like he was saying he leaves Twilight Zones on in the background, right? So.
Like I find it hard to even watch every Marvel thing
Oh
once.
yeah, I've fallen off that wagon for sure.
Like I think
I still haven't seen Wakanda Forever or what else have they had recently?
fine. I didn't like it as much as Avatar 2.
Well, I went to Avatar too, so it worked out. I still haven't seen the Inhuman Eternals.
Eternals.
They haven't seen the Eternals. Haven't
You
and the TV shows. I haven't seen most of them. Still didn't, never saw Black Widow, which you told me was just Scarlett Johansson falling out of windows for 2 hours. So that's fine. I can feel like I can play that in my mind.
I can't think of anything that I would be like you absolutely have to watch it except for like the first third of Shang-Chi.
I did. I actually did see Shang Chi. So okay.
The first third of that was really good. Hawkeye was very good, which I didn't think that was going to be the case, but it was.
Is that a
I mean,
movie or a TV show?
TV show.
I don't even know anymore.
There wasn't any like no one flew around, so it was all like action movie shit.
Oh, okay.
Which and there was some good like humor in it. Like the most of the antagonists in it were like these Russian tracksuit guys, and they were called like tracksuit mafia, and they just kept being like, "Bro, hey, come here, bro." They just kept calling each other bro, and it was like just a bunch of dudes in tracksuits. So that was fun.
I guess season two is somewhat unlikely anytime soon.
Of that, no, yeah, they're doing a spin-off with like Echo. Was it?
I don't know. Why are you asking
There's an
me?
Echo who was in it. I didn't know
Echo,
that they didn't call her Echo.
Echo,
Echo. They didn't
Echo.
call her Echo in the show, so I didn't know she was Echo. But she's a whatever villain named Echo.
Okay. Anyway,
Do you
yeah, I
care
just
about spoilers at all?
no.
They put Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin in it.
Okay. Yeah, that okay. Yeah, I guess people do consider that sort of thing a spoiler now, don't they?
I mean,
This
if someone
person's
told
in
me
it.
that, I'd be like, oh, that makes me want to watch it because Vincent D'Onofrio is like great.
Yeah, it almost does, except I won't be bothered to watch it.
But you know
Um,
he's not gonna like beat someone to death into a bloody pulp because it's a PG-13 rated show.
oh, okay, that's too bad. Because
Yeah,
that's what they need
or
from the
like
kingpin.
or fuck anyone. I don't remember if he did that, but he might have. Oh, fuck you. No, he's so good, but like, but yeah, but it's like, if you're gonna watch any of the shows, I think that's the best one. But you might disagree, because some people like Loki better, and some people like. I mean, I think Loki was good, was the best sometimes, and WandaVision was the best sometimes, but
Well, it was
none of
it petered out as it went because it became
yeah.
more and more Marvel, right? And its strength
Well,
was being completely nutso.
the thing was that WandaVision turned into a regular Marvel thing at like the fourth episode, and then kind of it was like the regular Marvel shit started just creeping into it. And
Right.
I think you're supposed to watch that and feel like, man, I'm so glad this sitcom shit is like being crept into. But I was just like, no, stop doing this.
Do the
Stop making it about
sitcom.
people in vans with laser weapons. This sucks.
Do the
Um,
sitcom.
and then Loki like really just kind of fell apart at the end where they tried to just do a thing where at the end they were just kind of having a conversation with a guy in a room, which is normally the kind of thing I would be into, but it's like somehow just makes everything feel totally pointless.
See,
Like they kind of fumbled that kind of thing.
I just watched the first episode of Loki like a year and a half ago, and I was like, oh, that was pretty good.
I
And
mean,
then I
it's
never watched any more. Then I never
if
watched
you
episode
keep in
two.
mind that I mean, if you keep in mind that the ending sort of just kind of fizzles out, it's worth watching that show, but it's not like spectacular. I mean, you get Owen Wilson and you get like that lady who's super good and a few really good actors
Hmm.
and Owen Wilson who is always great.
Right. So
So
I don't know. Yeah, it's
who
just
gives a
yeah.
shit really? Just watch Andor. Just watch
Right.
that. Watch Andor
Actually,
twice.
I'll say I watched the first couple and it just didn't really grab me. I mean, like nothing
Did
wrong
you
with it.
get
It
to
just
the episode where they were all shooting at each other in a huge warehouse with gears flying everywhere?
I guess not, but yeah.
Well, watch that. Watch the third. That's the third episode. Watch the third episode, and if you're not into it, then whatever, just skip it. But
Yeah. Yeah, it's just not like I think it's because I wasn't like that into Rogue One either.
I
With
didn't
Star
like Rogue
Wars,
One
with Star
at
Wars,
all.
I do want like the wacky, like force shit.
I didn't like Rogue One, but Andor is like my favorite thing.
Oh, okay,
So
that's weird.
I've heard other people say that too. It's not a 1-to-1. Like they're not the same thing.
I think I don't like
Like
Andor very much. I was in like the guy.
yeah,
I find
he's
him
the weakest
unlikable.
part of the series, unfortunately. uh,
Like
but
I
I
just
mean
like this guy's not interesting.
the series is great in spite of that guy.
Okay.
He's not a very good actor, I don't think.
Okay. I don't maybe I'll check. I mean, this week I just now I gotta like hardcore a few movies for podcasts. So
But there's the thing where he's like going on vacation and gets like all police brutalityed by the stormtroopers, and his name is Keith Gergo, and he keeps saying, "I'm Keith. My name is Keith Gergo." And it's really funny because it's just ridiculous hearing someone say that they're Keith Gergo over and over again.
Keith.
Keith
Okay.
Gergo.
Yeah.
It's like a Star Wars name. But
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you still want me to do Total Recall, I can do it. I've
Um,
watched half of it.
I'll get back to you because I
I'd rather do something else. Here's a suggestion. I just listened to your Running Man episode. You
yeah.
guys haven't done Battle Angel Alita, have you?
Nope.
Have you seen it?
Nope.
You should do that movie. It's really fucking good, and it sort of is like the Hunger Games and the Running Man and RoboCop kind of all at the same time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't. I guess it's not really on Luke's radar. I mean, that's Cameron produced, right? So I don't see why it seems like
Yeah,
it should be.
it's I think one of the best things Robert Rodriguez has ever done. It's like seriously, like there's a scene where she straight up like goes up to this guy and punches a guy in the eye and breaks her arm off in his eye.
Oh, that sounds fun. You
That's
rake
in a
my eye.
PG-13 goddamn movie.
It's
It's really
it's
good.
sci-fi violence.
I saw it 3 times in the theater. Like that's how
Okay.
much I enjoyed it. And it had good 3D. Like
Right.
had that good 3D.
Even the Avatar, the Way of Water. I feel like you're not supposed to call it Avatar 2, right? It's the Way of Water.
I'm sure
It's a wet movie, but
it's
yeah,
a wet movie.
I do like when 3D
Wet
started.
Avatar.
When the movie started, I was a little like, oh god, I gotta do this for 3 hours. Once you get underwater, of course, the 3D is fantastic. But
The thing is, I went to a high frame rate showing by mistake. I'm sure I already said this, right?
I'm not sure. So was high frame rate bad?
Yeah, it looked like shit, but I
Okay.
still enjoyed it. I mean, it looked like shit as in love. The animation was all weird and like the stuttering when they pulled down the frame rate and all that shit.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I'm pretty sure I didn't see it in that. So
it kept just giving me like disorientation and like dissociation and panic attacks
you
because it was
dissociated.
weird. Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck? Who am I? Am I number 12? Am I the schizoid man? No, it's yeah, but it was still good. It was this thing where I spent, like a lot of people our generation, I spent a lot of the movie being like, this is stupid, and then by like the last 40 minutes, I was just basically completely into it.
No, I was mostly sold when I went in. Like I mean,
But
I guess
I
you
was
could.
like, this is so stupid that they're trying to make this whale a main character, and then by the end of it, I was just like, this is so fucking ridiculously
The whale
great.
crushes a boat. It's great.
He just goes on a boat and flips around and kills people. I mean, the fact that they were like trying to be like that whale has broken the whale code and murdered people. I'm like, that is fucking amazing. Like who fucking thought of that? I guess James Cameron thought of it. It's just so fucking amazing. But
Yeah, yeah.
nah, I think you guys would enjoy Battle Angel Alita possibly more than Hunger Games. I haven't seen Hunger Games. I don't fucking know, but
Well, I
it
think I said
seems
in the podcast I only seen the first 40 minutes of Hunger Games.
it's more of a Matt and Luke's sci-fi sanctuary movie than any of those fucking movies are. And it's still sort of for young people, but it's also pretty violent
Right.
for a
Okay.
PG-13 movie.
Mhm.
It has more than one fuck word in it.
More than one fuck word.
Yeah. Yeah, she says fuck more than once. That's how
Okay.
you know it's good.
Oh, I thought you'd have
Um,
like a different fuck word. Like I'm gonna flurp. I'm gonna
I'm
flurp
gonna
you.
cunt you to death.
Oh God.
Yeah, but
That's got
um,
to be a line in someone's movie.
probably, yeah. Um, but I'm not opposed to doing Total Recall, but like whatever, however that those I've already invested an hour in it, so however that fucking uh coin falls or whatever. Did
Yeah,
you so you watched the whole thing or did you watch half of it?
I watched half of it. I'll watch the rest when it's closer to actually, time to do it. So, because I don't know
So we're
when the
probably
first
in the
episode.
same area of the film because I checked and it was like halfway.
Yeah, that's about where I was. And
I
then
wish it
I'll need to
was.
get to you soon for the Will the Real Martian please stand up on the Twilight Zone. Sorry, that's you
Oh
getting
yeah,
another. But I
I
mean, actually,
totally.
people like that one. But yeah, it is a little bit of a derp, I guess.
I kept meaning to ask about that because we talked about doing that like 3 weeks ago, and I just kept forgetting.
Yeah, I mean, what's the date on it?
I'm
February
like,
20th.
I'm thinking to myself, so you can do all the work of getting me and Luke coordinated, but like that's ridiculous because Luke's just where you are
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. So I got them. It doesn't air for a month. So and everything before that's already recorded. So
Cool,
it doesn't really. It's, I mean, yeah, we'll do it soon, but I'll get back to you on that. Trust me,
cool.
I haven't had one of these episodes not happen so far, right? So,
I'm caught up on I'm caught up on watching everything up till then, so I will be ready for that.
did you watch that one already?
No, I was actually my Paramount Plus ran out, so I have to download it or find somewhere else to watch it. I had a free year of Paramount Plus and it just ran out.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you can. I mean, Luke. You ask Luke if you need to, because he goes somewhere to watch these. That's, you
I
know,
I can
awful.
find it.
Yeah,
Don't you
yeah.
worry about that. Oh, I find I mean, I watched The Prisoner for free on YouTube. It said with ads, but my ad blocker stopped the ads.
Okay, there you go. I don't think I got ads for that. because I was gonna rickroll everyone yesterday, but you can't rickroll people anymore because you get the ads.
You're just like, hey, go to this, and then it's just like, have you tried looking for just your finger all smashed up?
Right, and then you'll see at the line, oh, it's Rick Astley, right? So you can't properly rickroll people anymore, which is depressing.
I actually have an idea which I was gonna do, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But like, just take what's the other song he did was Together
Together
Forever.
forever.
Upload that, but then it turns into Never Gonna Give You Up after like two measures of
It's
it.
basically the same song.
I know. That's why I think it's funny. That's why I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, and nobody will even get the joke because nobody will watch it. But you know,
It's got to go viral, right? But yeah, my point's like this Friday, I don't know if I'm gonna do Total Recall or maybe I'll see about doing The Martian. I haven't like
uh,
I haven't put.
Friday. I mean, my Friday is kind of fucked.
It'd be your
But
Thursday. Sorry, I'm talking
oh yeah,
from.
my
I'm
Thursday is pretty great. I think for
okay.
stuff.
I'm talking about my mat perception. So
No,
anyway,
no,
your
it has to
Thursday
be on
night,
the same page.
your Thursday
My
night
Thursday
might.
night is open. My Friday and Saturday are bad.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I never ask you to do these on Friday or Saturday anyway. So
Well, I mean,
I
if I was doing a 9 to 5, it would be fine. But that's not happening right now.
and a Friday, your Friday's like I'm going to work. That's like never possible. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, ideally, I would be going out every Friday and every Saturday to do fun things, but I've had COVID 3 times, and I'm afraid of getting it a fourth time. So,
Mm,
um, I'm not really doing a whole lot of stuff still.
right,
But
right.
I guess at some point, I'm just gonna be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get COVID every month and like whatever. But
Do people now not hang out at the house? I
you mean
think
like,
In Japan, if you have COVID, you're still basically like cooping up for a week. I think
I mean, I just
they
people
might.
here just are not careful.
Okay,
If
because
you go out, if you go out, people won't be wearing masks. If you go to someone's house party, they won't be wearing masks. No one wears masks unless it's like occasionally like you'll go to like a movie or something and one of your more cautious friends will be wearing a mask, but that's sort of it.
I'll be
Like I've been to
curious. I'll be curious, and because in spring, I think Japan said they're going to downgrade it to flu level, meaning that masks. Because right now, masks are still recommended indoors, like if not law wise, it's never been a law or a
Mhm.
mandate in Japan, but yeah, like even outside, like it's pretty rare you see people not wearing a mask.
I mean, I'd feel safer like that, but it's just
I mean,
my
I
mom
don't.
has it now.
Yeah, I don't really rock it outside to be honest. But I mean, yeah, if I'm in a rice field, why would I?
If you're out in a field or something.
But I'm just
I
saying,
don't really wear one outside anymore, but like
oh,
I
see, in
will in like
Japan,
stores and
I'll see
stuff.
people walking around at the countryside wearing one, driving cars by themselves wearing one still. So in Japan, it's kind of like the opposite
I've
direction.
had I've definitely had people like talk to me about how much they like don't respect people they see wearing masks outside and shit like that.
Oh, they wouldn't like Japan then.
Yeah, well, Japan wouldn't like them either, probably. And I
Yeah.
kind of don't
Like
like
the
them.
like
That's
outside, the only time I really put one on is like around Nagano Station. But
yeah.
otherwise, I'm never around people outside. So why would I bother?
Yeah, I just, it's a perception thing. Like I'm just so tired of like knowing that nobody around me gives a shit if I live or die that it makes me just like so I'm not I mean, honestly, I wear one when I'm working like a lot, and part of it is I'm just like I just want to be distanced from all these people around me who don't give a shit.
Mm.
It's like a social it's like a whatever rebellion, um, not non-rebellion. I don't know, fucking. But you don't know what that's. You haven't dealt with that shit, and that's better that you haven't.
Right,
Because
right.
it's
So
like
for
because
me,
this
I'm
made me like a bitter piece of shit. Really, I'm like not really the same person I was before because of that.
see
So I don't know.
I'm more my concern is Japan's never going to stop it. Never going to give
Yeah,
it up.
different
Never
concern.
going to let it
Yeah,
down.
Yeah, together forever, you and your mask. No, it's but no, I totally understand that it's like a different perception thing, but it's like a few months ago I went to a cancer benefit for a friend of mine who has like pancreatic cancer. It was at like Star Bar, and it's just the Star Bar is just loaded with people who are not wearing a mask, including the guy who has cancer.
Hmm.
And like I'm one of the only people wearing a mask, and people are staring at me. So it's
Oh,
like eventually you do enough of that shit and you're just like, I fucking what it's I'm now like wearing a mask less because I'm just like, fuck it, nobody cares. I
okay,
just
so
like
I'm
nothing
totally
matters.
I'm totally in the opposite position than you. Then I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shit, that people like it too much because it's like another like kind of social barrier, which
Hmm.
Japanese love that, right? And they don't have to,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that people don't have to see my face, and I think it's gonna screw up some kids, minds.
Yeah. I
But
yeah, and I mean I don't know what it would be like to grow up as a kid here and like what that would be like, but yeah, I could totally see feeling like that if I'd been on the other end of it. But it's like my where I am, it's just like I just I like for the first time in my life want social barriers, and it's like I also have to ask myself like I fucking hate feeling like I want to put distance between myself and people, but I do. So it's just like I hate what it turned me into, kind of, if that
because
makes any
as
sense. It's
yes,
not
as
like I
far
won't snap back, but like I mean, I got COVID. The last time I got COVID was probably just from a friend of mine who normally is very careful, who got it from a mutual friend of ours who I totally would have hung out with, who went to the Stranger Things experience and didn't wear a mask there, and there were a bunch of people there. So it's just like I can trace it, but it's
I'm
all
pretty
stuff where just
I'm pretty sure I got it from a 5-year-old girl who was trying to use me as a jungle gym and coughing on me.
well, there you go. It's like you can't really I see if that had happened, I would be like, I can't be mad at this 5-year-old or whatever,
Yeah, but yeah, because I again at the
but
school, except for very small children, like everyone's wearing a mask, like
yeah.
always. Like you don't see people not.
Well, it's like, and I'm not mad at my friend I got and either of my friends who I could trace it to because like again, I would have hung out with them without a mask anytime, and it just still happened. And then my mom got it at church, so I could be mad at church, I guess, because I don't fucking care about church. But like, she's doing okay. But
I
like,
also got through the symptoms within like 12 hours, so that helped.
I'm just like, since I've gotten it 3 times, it's like there's some, I don't know if it's like actually legitimate because I search for it. People share things on Facebook and it's like, whatever, drhealth.org or some shit that's like, is this real? But I think there is some evidence that it's riskier to get it multiple times.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, because actually I felt kind of groovy Friday night, right?
mhm,
And then Saturday I felt like utter crap. I thought I actually had heat exhaustion because it was early August, but
mhm.
and then yeah, so that Saturday I went to work and then immediately went home basically, and felt crap until about dinner time. And then the next morning, I actually did the Howling Man podcast episode from the dinner. If you listen
You
to that
were the
episode,
howling man.
well, if
I
you
think,
listen to that
yeah.
episode, my voice is a little scratchy on it, but
I
yeah,
think I noticed that, but I also think I knew that that was when you had COVID that you recorded that somehow. Or
yeah,
maybe I just assumed.
no, I probably mentioned it to you earlier because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, but yeah, I was like, oh, I need to cancel. I was like, actually, I probably can do this. So,
I mean, I did a few. Well, I can't remember what I did when I have COVID. At least a couple of the Garth Marenghi Dark Places.
yeah, yeah, and I think we did something in the last time you did too. So, because
But yeah, I mean, it sucks because I've been really careful, and being really careful has made me like really unhappy because I like hanging out with people and going to parties and shit. And I still got. I mean, I hung out with this like fucking like crazy party girl person that I know, and she said she'd gotten it 3 times. So I was just like, what the fuck? I got it the same number of times as somebody who just didn't give a shit at all.
yeah.
It's like that makes me mad too. It's just a bunch of just ugh.
So I guess what I was saying, like from a personal safety thing, I don't really give a shit. But I'm also living a like I'm almost no, I don't go to parties. I'm like rarely around people. When I am around people, it's to train or work, and yeah, everybody is wearing a mask there. So
Yeah, I'm like legitimately at this point legitimately coming to terms with like thinking about like how much of my 40s I've been just sitting at home, and it's like
Mm.
making me really upset. Whereas I think a lot of people are just like, yeah, I get to stay at home more, you know what I mean, or something like that, and I'm just like, oh God.
Oh, I'd already be out of the house if we weren't still chill or chatting because I'm gonna go to the onsen. Okay, there's an interesting one though. I still go to the onsens a lot. That's where the suddenly nobody cares about masks at all, which makes sense because I have seen someone in a sauna wearing a mask though. That's insane.
Well,
If you're gonna
I
be in a
mean,
sauna.
well, did we only go to one once? I mean, whenever we went to that one, that was pretty empty, but that might have just been because it was during the week.
During the holidays, I did go and it was a little more crowded. But again, it's not like you're getting into people's faces and like licking them or anything there, right? Like,
Maybe.
when everyone's walking around naked, you try not to bump into them too much, right?
Yeah,
And I mean,
probably.
I think in Japan is basically if you're coughing at all, you're not going to go to an onsen right now, you know.
Yeah, I think that's another thing is that like
When people start
I
coughing, they do stay home these days in
maybe.
Japan.
I mean, I wonder about how it is here, but I mean, but I definitely when I had COVID the last time, I was definitely like, I need to get to work as soon as possible. Like the second I tested negative, I was working like
See,
immediately. So
I had sick days too, right? So I didn't like
Mhm.
to have to take like a financial hit because I think I told you I also had to take a few days at the beginning of November because everyone else in the house had COVID.
Yeah.
So I just didn't go to work for like 3 days. So that was nice because I
Well,
wasn't even sick.
if I still had that film job, I would have been able to work from home probably just indefinitely because nobody really needed me for anything. But like the one guy who got it was out for 7 days and he was still like emailing me everything, like all the work stuff. But
Yeah.
and his job actually needed him to be. He was just like planning a bunch of stuff over emails, but I was just doing paperwork. But
So I
yeah, it sucks. I just
so I guess Japan does too much, but um I
yeah,
what
there's no like perfect. I mean, the perfect medium would be everybody would have just locked up for a period of time until it just stopped happening, and that was like no one in power was gonna allow that to happen. But now we're at like dealing with um they just keep saying a recession is going to happen for the last like 6 months, but it just hasn't happened yet. But
well
like I think
we've seen like real time inflation in Japan. Like everything is noticeably more than it was like 6 months ago.
yeah, it is here too. I mean,
Okay.
in most cases, it's like I don't know. I guess I don't buy a lot of groceries lately, but like frozen meals where I would get them for $2 are now like 2.50 or $3 or something like
Right.
that. Or
Yeah, yeah,
like
that sort of things. Yeah.
you have to like get like the ice cream I bought where I don't usually buy ice cream, but it was on sale for $3, but it was like 6.50 was the normal price. Like a lot of the frozen pizzas are like $7, $8.
Whoa,
But the
yeah.
thing is, usually if I buy like produce or meat, I just don't pay attention to how much it costs. I just buy whatever I feel like buying and
Mm-mm.
just like eat the whatever. But yeah, and just there is a lot of inflation here for sure. It's just something where I'm like I just try not to think about it because it's like what am I gonna fucking do? Not eat, right?
Hopefully I'll get a salary bump come April, but
Yeah. I
because
mean, yeah, but it's like I'm not
if any time this is time for a cost of living bump, you know.
yeah. It's like I don't know, a couple of video games have done price increases, which is weird as hell. Like the Oculus Rift heads or Oculus Quest headset went up by $100. They were like, you know, their things are just going up in price, which
Mm.
is weird. Like I don't feel like we've ever seen that, but
But definitely annoying. But
yeah,
okay.
but I'm just like I'm just gonna buy less stuff.
Mm.
That's sort of it. I don't know.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know if I don't know. If I get to go to Japan before the pandemic's over, I'll have no problem wearing a mask the whole time. So,
Well, yeah, like it is like you'll see shots of people in Tokyo, and it's funny because a lot of foreigners aren't, but like pretty much everyone Japanese is.
mhm.
So, Nagano Station, I didn't, they only started letting tourists come back in like October, right? So, um, I've seen
I
some
mean,
around Nagano Station. So,
I've pretty much proven that I can wear a mask for like hours and hours at a time. So it's not
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because no, I guess that's the difference at work. It's just like everybody does, and it's just like this is getting old, you know.
Yeah. Well, imagine that you barely had to do it at all, and people are like, "This is getting old."
Right.
Because that's
So
definitely like
yeah,
I was
because
wearing a mask that was required at my film job, and people were walking around not wearing masks, staring at me. Like that
no,
was a
yeah,
thing.
no,
Like we're supposed to be enforced.
I still don't have like firm mental images of my coworkers. I
Interesting.
haven't seen like anyone that's joined the past few years. I only like glanced them maybe at a party or if they're drinking a cup of coffee. Otherwise, I don't actually know what they look like.
Imagine it. Yeah, imagine if it was supposed to be required, but most people didn't, and they stared at you for wearing a mask, and then you get mandatory COVID testing every like week, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like they barely put the swab up there. Like you can tell that they're trying not to get the
Mm-hmm.
test result. You probably, I wonder if that's probably not a thing in Japan where they like barely test you because they don't want to know.
I've only been tested twice, I think.
Holy shit, really? Dude,
Yeah,
I've been tested like 250 times or something like that, dude.
maybe maybe 3 times, but yeah,
I was
two or
going
three
weekly of
times.
my own volition while I was delivering, so it's just like getting free government ones, and now I have a bunch of free ones at home. And holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh,
Well, be thankful for that because I've had like a fucking lot of goddamn lot of tests.
Yeah, yeah. And one of them, well, how did it? One of them was just spit, was it? I've only gotten one swab up the nose.
Well, I mean, like I said, the good thing of a film job every week was just like barely put the swab in there at all. So,
Yeah, my company's
you know,
for sure too cheap to do
that was
that.
easy.
So,
That was easy, yeah. But
okay.
when I do it myself, I'm like, like I
Hmm.
actually want to know. But
Oh, maybe
anyway,
I did it myself. I don't remember. I think I might. Yeah, I might have done it. Did it to my. No, once. No, once they did it. Yeah, yeah. One time they did it. One time I did it. I think. Maybe I've had three tests. Yeah, three. But yeah, again, yeah. Obviously, that's quite different. So.
yeah.
Okay.
All right,
I
well, we'll
will
do
catch you
Martian
later.
shit soon.
I'll get to you. That'll be before too long. So,
All right, cool.
word
Great
up.
seeing
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.